And welcome. David Levin here, Raising the Game today. This is Tuesday, so we're talking about the mental game of sports and competition. Fridays are for the rest of our lives. This week, I want to talk about Carlos Alcaraz, the great young Spanish tennis player, and the extraordinary thing he did this week at the French Open. So he was playing a fourth-round match against the American Ben Shelton. Both of them are 22 years old, by the way, which blows my mind how young top players are now, and thinking about the insane pressure they must be under at that level. And tennis is probably the hardest mental game of all. It's just wild to think about. But anyway, they're in the match. Carlos wins an amazing point, returning a shot you can hardly even believe he got. Like his racket flew out of his hand at the end. The crowd's cheering. Ben is, frustrated. But immediately, the moment it happens, Carlos says to the chair umpire, "No, that wasn't my point. My racket left my hand before it hit the ball." And you can see on the replay that he's right, though you couldn't see it in real time, which is why the ump missed it. But anyway, Carlos tells the ump that and says, Ben should get that point. And his sportsmanship gets a big round of applause from the audience, as it should. And then afterward, in the post-match interview, he said, I thought I could not say anything, but I would have felt guilty if I did the wrong thing. I have to be honest with myself and everyone. It's about the respect we have for each other. And I think that sports in general should be like this, end quote. How beautiful is that? And there's so much to say about it. First, it's a powerful statement about what it really takes to be happy and successful in life, by which I mean to feel good about ourselves and our lives. Because that's what it really comes down to. At the end of the day, the biggest factor in how we feel about our life is how we feel about ourselves as a person. And that has very little to do with material signs of success. And how we feel about ourselves comes down to the choices we make in moments like this. Two options in front of us. One is the right thing, the other is less right. Choosing the right one has huge impacts on our happiness and also our performance. And he was super clear that that was basically what he was thinking. Again, I would have felt guilty. I have to be honest with myself. There are all kinds of potential reasons to not choose the right thing in the moment. And some are very good reasons, like, I need to win this match. There's a lot riding on it. If the ump didn't call it, who am I to say otherwise, right? I've certainly had bad calls go against me in the past. It's just part of the game, right? It's not always an easy decision. But it's also absolutely true that nothing feels more important over time than being proud of ourselves. And every memory we have of times when we've made choices we're not proud of weighs on us for the rest of our lives. Regrets never go away. So just at that personal, emotional level, we should try to follow Carlos's example as much as possible. I can tell you from my little pickleball world, I had a game not that long ago. I stepped into the kitchen during a volley, which is a no-no, right? No one noticed. We won the point. I didn't say anything, and I still feel bad about it, as I should. I was a smaller, less trustworthy person in that moment, and those things take a toll. Now, it doesn't mean I'm always a small, untrustworthy person. Of course, we shouldn't make too much of things like this, but I clearly can be in certain situations if I'm not watching myself still at my age, and I expect that's true for most of us. So the point is, if we want to be proud of ourselves, and we do, we need to pay attention to these moments and do the best we can every day, moment by moment. That is the key to being happy and successful in our lives. That's a powerful lesson all by itself. But there's more. It also tells us how to do it, or at least where to focus our attention as we try to do it. These moments we're talking about, where we have a choice between a good action and a less good action, these are the key to every part of our mental game. In the Raise Your Inner Game book and a Sports Academy training, we call them inner game moments because they really are kind of the whole story almost, or at least the whole realm of the work. It really is where the whole thing is fought. For athletes, their biggest problem is getting out of their head and back in the game. So in the moment for them, a distracting or negative thought comes up. The choice is to run with it and get pulled into your head, or resist and stay focused and present. At work or in a relationship, something goes wrong, we get upset. The choice there is let that emotion take over and make us say or do something dumb that ends up being a bad idea, or stepping back from that and responding in a more positive, effective way. With our health, we're feeling hungry. We walk through the kitchen, see a snack on the counter. The choice is, go ahead and grab one. One's not going to hurt anything. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 is okay too. Or we stop. Nope, not going there. And we stay on our plan. Moments like these that pop up constantly throughout our days are literally where the mental game is won and lost. So the first powerful step in taking our mental game to the next level and making the huge improvements in our life that come from that is simply to start paying attention to these moments, to see what's really happening and observe in real time the mechanism that pulls us away from being the person we want to be. This is the foundation of everything we do in our program. And Carlos' story is a great reminder of the importance of these inner game moments. Again, think about his experience. The shot happens, the call is made, the crowd's cheering, he wins the point. He considers not saying something, right? He's aware of the choice in front of him, but he weighs it against his values and makes the choice to do the right thing. It's really good. And then the third lesson is for the rest of us in society and the world. We celebrate his honorable choice, as we should. The crowd applauds. Articles are written. Podcasts are recorded. It's an inspiring moment. And that's one big reason we love sports in the first place. As he says, I think sports in general should be like this. And he's right. They should be, right? Sports are fair and honorable. Playing fair is expected. Extraordinary sportsmanship is celebrated. People who cheat are shunned. And that's how it should be. And not just in sports, in all of society. And that's how it used to be, or at least it was the expectation. But we have lost that in our country today. We no longer seem to care about people's character outside of sports. They can say or do anything, lie, cheat, steal, abuse others, and it doesn't cost them their positions. I honestly don't understand that. I don't know when it stopped being disqualifying to lie and cheat. I absolutely mean that. If I meet someone in my life and I come to believe that they're not trustworthy, I am done. I instinctively stay as far away from that person as possible and tell everyone I know to do the same, right? Of course I do. What else would even make sense? If you can't trust someone, keep your distance. You can't deal with them. So why don't we expect the same from our leaders? And I don't mean just say we want it. I mean we should get rid of them if they don't act that way. It shouldn't even be a question. Trustworthy behavior should be instantly disqualifying. In sports, we do this because it's the right thing to do, but also if we don't, it ruins the sport. Literally, if athletes don't play by the rules, there's no game to play, right? The same thing is true with our society. If we no longer expect people to play by the rules and be honest and honorable and ethical in their behavior, we don't have a civil society anymore. If we can't trust our leaders, it all falls apart and we're left with a base, brute force, power is everything system. And I don't honestly believe any of us really want to live in that world. Anyway, those are the lessons from Carlos's outstanding moment of sportsmanship this week. How we feel about ourselves comes down to the choices we make in moments like this, so we should all work to be better about doing the right thing in our inner game moments. To do that, the first step is to start paying attention to these moments and notice the mechanism that's pulling us away from being the person we want to be. By the way, you can learn more about our book and trainings that teach you how to do that at raiseyourinnergame.com. And then finally, as a society, we need to get back to a place where we demand that our leaders show the same levels of honor and decency and fair play that our athletes do. And when they don't, they should be out. Full stop. All right, I hope that was helpful. Let me know any questions or comments. Otherwise, keep up the good work. I'll see you next time.